Today I'm taking a look at the Yi 6-piece torque wrench set. So I got a fairly nice case with it. And there is the set. We do have our manual, and more importantly, we have our certificate of calibration. So what that means is somebody actually looked at this torque wrench to make sure that it was up to spec. So when they set it to 10 foot-pounds, they got a reading of 9.95, 996, and 994. So that is a very, very accurate torque wrench at 10 foot-pounds. 27, they got 2692, 2717, 2677. So that is within 0.23 foot-pounds. At 45, we got 4550, 4517, and 4528. So again, within half a foot-pound, that is extremely accurate. So you got 14 and 16 millimeter sockets. These both are magnetic. So if you look in there, you can see that ring that goes around the outside. So that's typically designed for removing spark plugs. Of course, you can use that to hold on to anything that's going to be a 14 or a 16 millimeter bolt. So as spark plugs, you want to be able to drop that into the cylinder without having to worry about dropping the spark plug, bending that elbow, and changing the spark. And you also want to be able to extract that socket without needing to grab some pliers or something. Before they used rubber boots, now they use magnets. Magnets are much better in my opinion. We also have a spark plug gapping tool or coin. You can see on there that will range from 0.020. So this band around the outside that is gradually going to get thicker. It's very important to have a tool like this or some kind of a feeler gauge or something for gapping those spark plugs because you want to make sure they are set for your engine. So between that and these sockets, this is basically a spark plug torque set. They also have a universal joint and an extension. So why would you need this for spark plugs? The main reason is because there's a lot of engines where not only you have to drop down deep, but you might have to go around an angle to actually get to those spark plugs. Not super common, but it does exist, and having the tools available so that you can do that is very handy. I guess I put that in the wrong side, so it'd be like this side. I also really like seeing that we got a knurled grip on here, so if you want to spin that by hand, you can. It does appear to also be labeled chrome vanadium. So for the important thing, here is the torque wrench. So it is written on here, store at lowest setting, and that is currently at its lowest setting of 10 foot-pounds. I think, yeah, we could reduce that even more than that if we really wanted to, but that is just going to keep the torque wrench in good condition. But we can also see on here, this goes up to a max of 45 foot-pounds. The reason that's going to be important, especially with spark plugs, is because most heads are made out of aluminum. You do not want to strip those out. If you've ever seen somebody, they'll just like torque down that spark plug. Sometimes when you do that, it will actually rip up those threads. You'll be driving along and you'll find that the spark plug just shoots right out of the head. Not as good. So with an aluminum head, you want to be very careful. You want to make sure that you're torquing this to the correct spec. I also like seeing this has the style that I prefer. So it has a collar that you pull down, and that will allow you to set it. And if you get it between two numbers like that, you can see it will click into place when it is at that setting. We also have two rings here on the bottom. So the top one is foot-pounds and the bottom one is Newton meters. This is a 3/8 drive. If you have that with the drive facing down, you'll be able to see the foot-pound readings. And if we spin that around so the drive is facing up, we got our Newton meter setting. So 61 Newton meters is approximate to 45 foot-pounds. It has a fairly smooth feeling ratchet on it. That is reversible, and that has a push button release. What that's going to do is that is going to drop that ball in so you can change those sockets. I always prefer having a tool like this because that means that we're going to be able to put these on and drop them off one-handed. That way if we're holding on to something with one hand, or we need to change the socket to a different size, we can do all that just with the push of a button. Now this is a 3/8 drive. It is not a 1/2 inch drive. Torquing lug nuts or anything like that we require maybe between 90 and 120 foot-pounds. This is also going to make this a smaller torque wrench. So if you need to fit that like behind an engine bay or in a tight spot, this is going to be an easier tool to use than a full 1/2 inch drive torque wrench. So this is a click style torque wrench. So you should be able to feel and hear a click whenever it gets to the correct torque. There we go. So we know that this bolt is torqued properly. So overall, that is a very nice set. And especially if you're going to be doing spark plugs and you know you have a car with an aluminum head, this is going to be pretty much necessary. So I'm happy with that.